Oh snap, Glaze is going live.
Good day, good day, good day, good day, good day. Thank you for joining me. Just in case you're joining me for the very first time, I'm your host, the one they call Brian Glaze Gibbs. And this is my story, this is my ministry. What I do is I share my life experience and experience from the time frame that I grew up on. And what I do is I try to share light on the good, the bad, the ugly, and getting the younger generation to understand there's no shortcut in life. Crime doesn't pay. Only thing come fast, trouble. Easy to get into, hard to get out. Listen, folks, anybody that's out there right now that wants to know more about my story, what I suggest that you do, hey, get your signed copy of the Beyond Lucky book by emailing me to place your order. Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Gibbs, G-I-B-B-S, 1201 at yahoo.com. Like I say, I was once the problem. Now I'm seeking to be part of the solution. Because if you're not the solution, then you're the problem. Beyond Lucky, the Brian Glaze Gibbs story, a true story of crack, money, murder, and redemption. And if I, the one they call Brian Glaze Gibbs, can change, anybody can change. Hey, listen, folks, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about it. Before there was an ALPO, a Rich Porter, an AZIE, a Frisch, a Kevin Chow, before there was any of these guys, guess what, folks? There was a guy called William Underwood and the Vigilante. When you sit back and you think about it, you don't hear nothing about them. And the first time I ever heard the Vigilante, you know what? I was in Green Haven. So I was in Green Haven in 83 to 84. I think I was like 19, 20. And only thing you hear like news, because we were in there, a Max A facility, and you hear like on the news about the violence, the murders, the dealings, and everything else that's going on in there. And only thing you hear about the Vigilante, but you hear a name. It was the Sweeper brothers. Like, whoa. And the stuff that you was hearing about. So to me, folks, like I say, before you heard about any of those guys from Paid in Full, there was a Vigilante. William Underwood's in the Vigilante. And you know what? I'm gonna get started. And this came from the New York Times. And what it say is at least 15 killings are linked to a 40-member gang in the city. Okay? Manhattan police officials said yesterday that they had learned of a 40-member gang linked to at least 15 deaths, including the slaying last week of a key witness in a Manhattan murder trial. They say 8 members of the Harlem-based gang known as the Vigilante was under indictment for murder. At a hearing in State Supreme Court Manhattan, Detective John Donovan of the 28th Precinct described the suspect in the murder trial, Nathaniel Sweeper, 23-year-old, as a hitman for the Vigilante. The detectives say he had information that linked Mr. Sweeper to the death of the witness, Bobby Edmonds, 39. The victim from the other murder case tied to Vigilante was not named. The Vigilante sold narcotics and killed anyone who testified against him. The police say 2 bullets in the head. Mr. Edmonds was found with 2 bullets in his head several hours after his name was made public. The hearing was held to determine whether grand jury testimony from Mr. Edwin could be introduced as evidence at a new trial for Mr. Sweeper, who was accused of killing a man last autumn in Harlem. The first trial ended in a mistrial after the death of Mr. Edmond. According to Detective Donovan, who say he had been studying the gang for 11 months, the police are investigating at least 15 murders in which the Vigilante are suspect. The gang member, he says, sell heroin and operate out of an apartment building on Manhattan Avenue in Harlem. He say they range in age of 17 to 23. A policy on witness. Confidential source, the detectives say, told the police that the gang had a policy towards witnesses who cooperate with law enforcement. Official in prosecuting a member of the Vigilante, and they was aware that anyone would talk to the police about the Vigilante, they would have them killed, he say. Detective testimony, which was based largely on information that he said had came from unnamed source, was attacked by Mr. Sweeper lawyer, James Murberg. The lawyer said Detective Donovan's statement was highly inflammatory. Mr. Sweeper is an active member and high standard of the vigilante, Detective Donovan said. He moved narcotics on Manhattan Avenue and he's known as a hitman, he said. Asked to define the term hitman, the detective say he's a murderer. The detectives say the gang was formed in 1975 and its existence was common knowledge in Harlem. Members commonly wear military fatigue and military surplus, bulletproof vests, he said. He said the group had a strict hierarchy. The highest ranking member was known as Gold Hatchet, he said. Next are Silver Hatchet and Bronze Hatchets. According to the detective, some of them wear a charm around their neck, designated what kind of hatchet they are, he said. Sit back and think about it, folks. Like I said right now is, when you hear about things like that, you know, way before you heard of Pay in Full, ALPO, Rich Porter, AZIE, Fritz, the Consignment King, Kevin Child, guess what you heard of? You heard of the vigilante. And even right now, go deeper than that. Like to me, like I told you, when I was in Green Haven, that's the first time I've heard of these guys. Mind you, I'm from Brooklyn. But when you're in jail, Rikers Island, prison, events happen and word travel. So to me, when you hear about these guys making all this money, and you hear about the people involved, it's supposed to be the Sweeper brothers. And I remember I went home in November '84, and I remember coming back to see one of my buddies that was in Green Haven. I think I went back to see him in '87. And while I was visiting him in Green Haven, and he was just telling me who was who out there or whatever, and he said, yeah, that's one of the Sweeper guys. I said, oh man, yo, they rich. They part of the vigilante. He said, nah, man, that's not the case. And a lot of times people, when you hear names, or you hear story, or you hear people that's in that illegal trade, you automatically assuming that they're rich, that they're doing better than what they are. Always remember, folks, the name that you're hearing about, guess what? The name that you're hearing, if you hear names out there, chances are they ain't doing nothing. They making money, but as fast as they making it, they spending it. But you never heard of William Underwood. William Underwood was, guess what? Probably got his hand dirty, but he kind of like pushed away, backed away from the street. Right now, using his intelligence, he got money, so he got into the music industry, and he had some great clients like Johnny Gill. Like if you watch and you see who he rubbed elbow, he was rubbing the elbow with the late Michael Jackson. So when you sit back and you look at it, wow, this man was able to get out and go, what you say, quote unquote, 3,000 miles away from New York City, and he went to LA, Hollywood. And look what he did, man. Look what he did. You know, and I'm gonna even go deeper than that. You know, 4 alleged member of narcotic and murder gang arrested. 4 alleged member of a narcotic and murder for hire gang was arrested on murder, drug, or conspiracy charge, just as 3 of them was about to carry out a contract killing on fictitious people, a prosecutor say. The Harlem gang, the vigilante, had killed at least 15 people, including a drug enforcement administrator informer and a witness in a murder trial gang member, Nathaniel Sweeper. Manhattan District Attorney Robert Magathor said Wednesday. All right? Now, sit back and think about it. Magathor say 3 hits was paid for by the undercover agent posing as a drug dealer who told members of the vigilante he wanted 3 fictitious rival kill. Nathaniel Walker, 22, Delroy Ross, 20, of Manhattan, and Alexis Lee Perry, 23, of the Bronx, were charged with conspiracy to murder after their arrest Tuesday night. Magathor say they and a 4th man was charged with selling drugs. Walker and Ross also charged with second-degree murder and the death of witness Bobby Edmond. Magathor say Edmond, 38, a drug addict, was shot to death on November 14, 1983, hours before he was to testify in Sweeper trial in the October 1982 death of a man who was shot during an argument over a parking space in Harlem. Informer James Carter, okay, he was convicted and is now serving 25 life in prison. Most of the gang victims have been witness to crime, rivals or competitor of other drug dealers who pay the gang to kill off competition, say Special Narcotic Prosecutor Sterling Johnson. We have found that drug dealing usually spun on, okay? Before the current investigator began, the gang moved about $20,000 worth of heroin a day, more than $7 million a year, in containers stamped with the Vigilante brand. Morgenthau say the traffic had been reduced to about 3,000 a day by surveillance and arrests, he said. Walker, Ross Perry, and sweeper brother Frank was also charged with second-degree criminal sale of substance because of $35,000 worth of heroin they allegedly sold to undercover officer, the district attorney said. Morgenthau said the gang had 24 identified members and some 40 associates, as well as a training group called the Golden Hatchet. The core group of the vigilante had been the sweeper brother, most of whom are now in prison, Morgenthau said. Besides Nathaniel and Frank, there's Anthony serving 6 years to life for drug dealing. Folks, why do we feel our only way out of the hood is by selling drugs, by killing each other, by robbing, by stealing? Why can't we get it together or feel like, you know what, I don't have to go out there and hustle off the land. I can make a decent livelihood, you know, by going to school, getting good grades, starting out at a low-paying job and work my way up. A lot of times because we want instant gratification. Because when you're in that neighborhood and you see other individuals out there driving the fancy cars, flossing with all the jewelry, the flashy clothes, you know, the girls, you want what they want. And you know right now, if you're making bare minimum, you're not gonna get that. And you know what? That is an illusion. It's no different than what we see on television with these rappers, these hip hop guys, and what they doing, coming on with all these truck jewelry, all the Lamborghini, Ferrari, the Range Rover, the Mercedes, and the BM and the Rolls Royce. Like, that's just an illusion. The difference right now is because, once again, most of the guys is renting that for the videos. So once that video's over with the mansion, once that video over is, they go back to their normal activity. So what we got to do is separate facts from fiction, folks. What we got to understand and get these kids to understand, guess what, man? All that, you can have all that. If you go to school, if you get a decent job, if you save and spend wisely, if you have A1 credit, you can have all that. And you don't have to worry about looking over your back or worrying about your phone being tapped or your door being kicked in by drug enforcement agency, by FBI, U.S. Marshal, or NYPD police, or Chicago police, or LA police. It doesn't matter. You can do it right the first time without even have to go down the wrong road. And that's the message that we got to sell to these kids. Because once again, everybody's lost in the sauce. Everybody think right now you can get rich. Man, you cannot get rich quick. It don't exist. Especially in that illegal faction, you cannot get rich quick. It got to be a way. You got to have a better game plan. You can't be like Tyreek going to Ghost, hey, teach me the game. You know what game you're going to teach them? Teach them how to be law-abiding, productive citizen. Teach them how to love thy neighbor, love themselves. Always remember, folks, most of us that been out there is traumatized, and we are hurt, and we are filled with so much different pain that's in us. So what we do is, being that we're hurt people hurt other people. When you watch and you listen, these guys is responsible for 15 murders for what? And I guarantee you the 15 murders that they're responsible for back then, guess what? Most of them look like us. Most of them look like us. And while we was doing that, while we was destroying our community, and like I say, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I did the same stupid things. I came in after those guys. And right now, I was just as worse though, guys. I'm not proud of that. And that's why right now is, like I say, I used to be the problem. Now, I'm being the solution to that problem. And if you're not the solution, then you're the problem, folks. We got to let them know it's a better way, man. We got to let them know that crime doesn't pay. We got to let them know that there's no shortcut in life. Only thing come fast is trouble. Go out there, get a trade. Go out there, go into the military. Go out there, join these law enforcement. Become a fireman. Become a policeman. Become a sanitation worker. Become anything, a messenger. Work your way up. Sometimes you have to crawl before you can walk. But what you have to do is you got to believe in yourself. You got to stand for something. You got to understand right now is, guess what? I am not going to be like ALPO. I am not going to be like Rich Porter. I'm not going to be like AZIE. I'm not going to be like Brian Glaze Gibbs. I'm not going to be like Fritz. I am not going to be like Fat Cat, Pappy. I'm not going to be like Gerald Miller, Prince. I'm not going to be like Supreme. I'm not going to be like any of those guys. I'm not going to be like the Preacher Crew. I'm going to be better than that. Because once again, right now, I have a dream. I have a dream that I am great. I have a dream that I am blessed and highly favored, and I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. If God be for me, who can be against me? I am not going to be a statistic. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life in jail and die in jail for what? Folks, listen, man. We have to get it together, and we have to know and understand right now we are better than what we think we are. And right now, it's no shortcut, but if you do it right, and you apply yourself, and not only that, you get down with the right partner. You find that right woman that share the same core value and vision that you have. And y'all can build, man. Y'all can build. Y'all can build. And that's what it's all about, folks. Listen, like I say, take it from me. I was once the problem. Now I'm seeking to be part of the solution, man. Like I tell you, folks, listen, man. Another thing. Health is wealth, folks. A lot of times right now, we as men don't want to go to the doctor and get checked out and get physical. Go to the doctor. Get yourself checked out. Check your blood pressure right now. Check your cholesterol. Check all that. Check your heart. Check your, you know what I'm saying, your liver. Check all that, man. Because once again, right now is, if your car and that check engine light come on, guess what you're going to do? You're going to the doctor. You're going to the doctor. You're going to take that car to the doctor. You're going to take that car to get serviced. You're going to take that to get the transmission fixed, to get the engine fixed, to get the brake fixed. Why can't you take that same care and put it with your car? Listen, folks, if you're suffering from high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high weight, high sugar, this is what I want you to do. Get your bottle of Panoxol. Get your bottle of Panoxol. Natural ingredients that will combat high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high sugar, high weight, and not only that, give you natural energy. You know what? It's in my description box. Hey, folks, hit that like button, subscribe, share, and like I told you right now, listen to the message. Listen to the word that I'm coming out of my mouth. Like I said, I'm not acting like I was an angel. I was a low life, but look at me now. I am blessed and highly favored. It's only because of the grace of God that I got this platform. Hey, shout out 56,000 subscribers and growing. 56,000 subscribers and growing. I love the positive feedback. I love everybody, like majority. Don't get me wrong, I get negative comments. But the difference right now, I denounce Satan in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But I look at all the positive comments that I receive, all the inbox and the DM and what come on, folks. That's what it's all about. Because once again, I am a living example. Like I said, I was once the problem. Now I'm seeking to be part of the solution. Once again, like I said right now, get your signed copy. Get your signed copy of the Beyond Lucky book, a true story of crack, money, murder, and redemption. And if I can change, folks, anybody can change. Like I try to tell people, I work each and every day. Do I want to work? No. I will never want to go to work. But guess what? I'd rather be at work and having a job opposed to being in the penitentiary. I'd rather be work having a job opposed to being in the graveyard. I'd rather be work and having a job opposed to being homeless. I'd rather be working and having a job opposed to being hungry. Folks, we are all in control of our destiny. We can choose to go left or we can choose to go right. Hit that like button, subscribe. Peace, love, and prosperity. One love.
Oh. Thank you so much, Brian Gibbs. I love this book so much. I mean, I was a fan of your YouTube channel, but now I'm like a real up-close and personal fan. I really love what you have going on here. And not only that, but I too was once lost and now I'm found. So thank you, Brian, for this autographed copy. I appreciate you.
What up, y'all? This is me, North Star, aka the Codist, and I just want to share with you this new supplement I've been taking. It's Panoxol. It's good for your heart health, which means your heart is pumping. You got a good flow of blood all through your body, right? You got stamina. You got more increased energy, right? And when you're pumping in the gym, hitting the weights, you feel strong, right? You feel alive. You feel vibrant. And when you're pumping in the bedroom, you're tearing it out the frame. Okay, so check this out. Tap in with me. for the new Panoxol supplement, the good heart health.